Hey, man.
Hey, hello.
Where are your glasses?
I'm not using glasses today.
When I was watching recordings from last 2 weeks, you looked so professional with those. Like, not that you don't look professional now.
Okay. Um, I'm trying to enable closed caption.
It's too late.
It's too late?
Yeah, you have to do it before you start streaming.
Oh, I guess I missed that.
That happens. But I can see they appear on YouTube. You
Yeah.
sure you didn't click them, really?
No, I didn't.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Hayes, and I will be your host for today's community meeting. And as you can see, Wukash is back, but I'm not giving up. Like I'm not handling over. I'm not handing over to Lucas because you would have to kill me to get it. So I will be your host for today's meeting, and let me just probably say all the upcoming community meetings also. I will still be your host because I need to like take over for Lucas, if you don't mind.
I definitely don't.
Okay. So before we start the meeting, does anybody have anything to share? Okay. If not so I guess we have to like get started. And for some reason, I feel more confident than the last time. I don't know. So before we have a couple of things here, I have a couple of things here in my agenda. So firstly, I would love to go, over the first thing on my agenda, which is the Snkpi mentorship program. We had quite some issues during the last mentorship meeting we had, where a lot of the folks didn't turn up. Just one mentee attended the meeting, which was quite sad. I wasn't happy with that, and for some reason, a lot of them didn't, share with me before the meeting that they won't be attending, even though few of them did. And as you can see, some mentors also haven't heard from their mentee in quite some time now, and so some of the mentors actually reach out to me saying, "Hey, I've not heard from my mentee for some while," which I had to like reach out to them. And a particular mentee actually said he's down with COVID, and I was like, "Oh, that's sad, but you should have reached out to your mentor first and let your mentor know I'm currently down with COVID, not just ghost on your mentor. That is quite not good." So I was thinking, okay, this meeting would be the right time to like discuss, share ideas on how I think we should approach that. Should I start holding a one-on-one meeting with individual mentors, or keep on doing the gatherings meetings with all mentors at once, even though most of them are not attending? And we've had, I think, 3 meetings, if I'm right, and some of the mentees haven't even joined for once. And, I reached out to them. I got no response. Now I was worried because why are they not joining? I had no idea what their progress is for some reason. So I was like, it is best if we now discuss this, if we can have this conversation right here in the community meeting.
It's a good place to discuss it. Shall we start now?
Of course.
So first of all, my question is, how many, because it sounds scary, how many, because we have 10 projects, how many projects are affected? I mean, how many mentors told you that they don't have contact with mentees?
I think just two.
Just two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it doesn't seem like a huge problem, luckily. I think one thing to remember is that the mentorship that because we tried the mentorship for the first time this year, and we didn't set a very strong deadline. So the deadline is the end of the year. So there's still a lot of time. So if somebody is sick of COVID, like definitely what you said, I agree with you 100%, like the person should communicate it with the mentor. But also like we have plenty of time. Unless in case of these two mentors, mentees already agreed some timeline and they do not fulfill it, then it's a different problem. Then we have to react. But I can give you my example. Like, so for example, I am a mentor for two projects. One is super advanced and the other one is not even started yet. But I did not report it to you. I don't see it as a problem because it's holidays, and I know that in case of my my mentee, she lives in France, which for her it's also holidays, so I don't see a problem with it. But yeah, it's individual. We left it in the mentorship program individual for mentors and mentees to agree on the schedule. So definitely that should be handled individually. I mean, like that's my proposal, like basically connects mentor and mentee, like push the mentee to contact with mentor and agree the schedule.
Okay, that seems like a very good insight, Bukash. And also I was worried because in doing the last the last meetings, I and the only person that attended the meeting, we're having a discussion around, mentees not having any idea what the evaluation phase is like.
We don't know either because we do it for the first time.
Yeah, so I like, based on my thoughts so far, I believe we have to, like, like I said earlier, the complexity of each project is different, right? And we have this initial deadline of the end of the year, right? And we also need to like have an evaluation phase, even if we have just two evaluation phase. And for different projects, it can be different, right? So I was thinking, what about if I reach out to, each mentor, and they can give me, an idea of what they want the first evaluation phase for the projects to be, and when they want the last evaluation phase for the project to be.
So like, again, like, so from the perspective of the setup of the mentorship, like we did not define this review process, etc. That's something that we have to learn this year. I remember like Akshat asking me, like one of my mentees asking me like, what's the evaluation period, how it looks like, etc., etc. So like when we were defining the mentorship at the very beginning, I was always thinking about, like, again, it's individual, because as you said, like complexity is super different. Some projects, it's just a lot of discussions and not much implementation, and the other ones, it's not much discussion, but a lot of coding. So this like requirements are interesting what Sergio wrote. But yeah, something to check. Anyway, I lost the track. So I mean, like I personally, as a mentor, I don't need any, let's say, fixed evaluation unless my mentee wants to have it, and my regular checking or whatever. Like, I think it's in the end it's up to us. But I don't have a strong opinion how we should, if we should do this semi-evaluation or middle evaluation or whatever. I don't recall having them with Google Summer of Code. Do you remember, Ace, if we were doing these?
Yeah, I do. I had evaluation phase.
Yeah, you had evaluation phase. Okay. I was your mentor. I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah,
so yeah,
so that makes so much sense, because even though we don't have it at this particular time, I feel it is something we should implement in the next mentorship program. Because I can say, like, I have, like, it is this mentees, and they're like, so there's this particular mentee that is having difficulty, you know, understanding what the project does. And I'm pretty sure maybe it's because of the complexity of the project, right? And I actually, like, advise this particular mentee to, you know, understand the project before he or she starts contributing to the project. And she was like, oh, so I need to, like, dedicate this amount of weeks to learning, but I have no idea when the first evaluation period would be, or when my mentor would actually reach out to me and say, hey, what have you done so far? And she would probably tell her mentor she's still learning about the project. Like, I was like, I'm pretty sure your mentor won't be happy to hear that, because I was like, so I think because we don't have this evaluation phase, so I think the mentees are, like, worried about how it works. So I guess I just have to, like, you know, communicate back to them, like, we don't have an evaluation period right now, but we do know you are only allowed to, like, run the program till the end of this year. That's, like, the maximum, the last deadline. So you have all the months, you have all the days until the end of the year. So another discussion we had,
but wait, just to sorry for just to continue on this, like, but just I mean, so we don't have any evaluation period, like we don't have any fixed date, but it's, again, like, it's also because we left it super flexible to people, up to mentee and mentor. So again, like, it should be like, mentee, if mentee is confused, mentee should go to the mentor and basically talk about it, because it's like mentee commits to some work through the discussion with mentor. They should agree what's the timeline in their case, what's the, if there needs to be, if there have to be some evaluation periods, if they agree something on, then that should be done between mentee and mentor. So I'm just, like, letting you know, like, how it was designed for this year, like, because with Google Summer of Code, it was easy, like the same timeline for everyone, fixed deadlines, and that's how Google Season of Docs works as well. But in case of this mentorship, we left it, like, we wanted to have it as flexible as possible, so it's all up to mentee and mentor.
Okay.
Of course, we can fix it for next year. I'm just,
yeah,
saying.
we should fix it for next year.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's also this debate with, like, going on with the mentees that I feel I have to, like, communicate with you guys during this community meeting. So I think a particular category of the mentees are saying the program isn't paid, that they probably heard from Lucas or something during a particular community meeting that the program isn't paid. Why another category of interns are saying this is a paid program. So I was, like, in the middle of I don't know which one to, like, because as far as I know, it is paid. And I was like, they said, oh, they heard from a particular community meeting where they said it is free. And I was like, well, I feel like I'm lost. So I was thinking I have to, like, bring it up here.
It's paid. We have $15K dollars secured 1.5K per project that was submitted for voting to technical steering committee, and the budget was approved. So not sure where it's coming from. I hope I did not miscommunicate something, but yeah, if I did, I'm sorry. Like, but yeah, it's definitely paid. Unpaid can be
that's cool.
so there can be like I was recently contacted by one of the contributors that his project where he volunteered was not accepted by TSC because we had like 20 something and we accepted only 10. And he wrote to me like if he can still work on it just without any payment on his schedule, etc. And I said like, yeah, definitely I can still support you as a mentor. It's just going to be outside the Snkpi mentorship. But if you want to learn, and I can definitely commit my time to mentor you, but it's going to be outside the mentorship program. But it's individual again, like it's like, but yeah, too long didn't read. It's paid $1.5 per person.
Okay, cool. So since it is paid, so I'm putting myself in the shoe of every mentee participating in this program. So if it is paid, so how do I get paid? Like, how do I know, oh, this is I have to like get paid? Is it, do I get paid partially, or do I get paid just a single time after the project is done?
So we didn't wrote down any rule that we pay in rates. Is it rates? Like a tranche? No, like basically it's one payment at the end. That's as far as I remember what was written in the whole proposal, that we pay out once the job is done. Basically because we said like we follow Google Summer of Docs. And that's how it works with Google Summer of Codes. Again, for next year, let's improve. But
yeah, of course, we have to improve. So for every mentee watching, if you are here or you'd probably be watching the live stream, you can hear from Łukasz. You are getting paid after the program, after you've completed the project. So, and I hope maybe in the next mentorship program, we would, tweak and do some updates to make it more flexible and much more fun. So bear with us for now. So that's all the questions I've gotten, like I got from the mentees. So I think that's everything concerning the mentorship program. And also like one more thing from the mentorship program, which I actually like discussed during the last community meeting, where some mentees were actually finding it difficult to understand, some projects. They were like, it doesn't have enough documentation, or they don't like really understand the project, maybe because it is much more complex. And an example of the project is actually Glee. And they were saying, oh, they have no idea what's the meaning of spec first or the term API first. They don't understand like what it's about, and just want to like contribute. And they feel they haven't seen enough example to make them understand how the project works, or less documentations and stuff. And I was like, this could be an interesting conversation. And I'm glad Fran is here.
Yeah, actually, to my mentees, what I'm doing is that please ask me whatever you need to ask. I'm happy to provide any guidance on what Glee is, how to set up Glee, what's the purpose of Glee, as opposed to code generator, for instance. It's not a code generator, right? It's similar, but it's not. And yeah, like, what can I say? Like, we actually, I think we're running these mentorship programs as well to improve all this stuff, right? So it's like a chicken and egg problem, right? Like, it's like, yeah, it is not in a good state, but that's why we are investing in Glee, right? Like, so it becomes better, right? Better documented, and also it becomes better in general, right? So yeah, well, the only thing that I think we can do here, not just with Glee, but with any project, is that mentors are there to provide any any guidance they need. So the only thing I can say is that the mentors know how things work. That's one of the things that we can share. So if there's something that they want to ask, mentor is there for that, for sure. Like if they have this kind of questions, they should be making more use of the mentors.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure why I think some of those mentees are like quite nervous to like reach out to the mentors about I don't understand what this project does, because I know maybe they don't want to feel like the mentor saying, what?
Yeah,
No,
I get it.
so I
But
understand.
I repeated it many times in the beginning, like, hey, no question is a stupid question. Like, like, don't feel bad for asking seemingly stupid questions, because they're not. I mean, it might seem stupid to me, but not to you, because you don't have the context or yeah, many things. So yeah, and also this also allows us to provide better documentation as well. Like if you have to, if we see that many people are asking the same questions, then probably this will be documented in the docs, right? Because that's a sign of how's it called, like that we probably are taking things for granted ourselves, because we've now been doing this for a long time, and we think everybody knows everything we know, and that's not usually the case. So yeah, but yeah, like I'll try to make more effort on my side and saying like, hey, if you have questions, like really, if you're struggling with something, ask the questions. But if the person feels that they don't want to look stupid and they don't want to ask the questions, other than myself repeating this many times, like, do you have questions? Do you have questions? I can do nothing else. Like if they don't ask questions, I think they know the stuff. So yeah, and they should not be ashamed of not knowing stuff, because they're mentees, right? So that's why they got a mentor. If you're supposed to know everything, then why do you need a mentor in the first place, right?
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, thanks so much for the explanation, Fran. So no question is stupid. So yeah, so I think that is basically everything.
Except Lucas' question.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
You were saying?
Yeah.
I would add something to it. Like, so I can share you, like, so I'm at the moment also a mentor for Google Season of Docs folks. So I can like especially say to Fran, like I had to write many multiple times directly to them, also on calls, repeat to them, like, really don't be afraid of me. I'm not biting, even though I look like. And now it's smooth. And I encourage you, especially mentors, to whenever mentees want like finally go through this barrier of not asking questions, and they start asking questions and they want to have a call. So what I do with my mentees, I have with them like kind of an office hour every week. So we meet for 1 hour with both because they both work on generator documentation. And I record the sessions, but I don't put them public because because to make them feel that they're in a safe place, and they once they cross the barrier of asking question, but they're still afraid of asking it, they don't ask it in public. So I record these and I publish them to my my private YouTube, and I publish it as unlisted video, so only they can access it through the link. So they can so they kind of have resource that they can go back to when they have like when they're missing some info, and they can just rewatch the recording.
That's a good idea.
And that's what I do with them, and I so far I'm getting feedback that it works with them. So you can ace like on this mentor mentees meetings, like also mention that they they could propose it to mentors, and it's a good solution. But yeah, definitely remind them again. It's they're like interns, and like who expects, like, of course there are companies.
They are high interns.
Yeah, and I bet there are companies that expect interns to implement the whole systems, but not here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Łukasz, for the explanation. Like that was a very, very nice suggestion, and I would definitely, communicate this in the next community meeting. I'm sorry, in the next mentorship meeting with the folks. We are with the mentors are always there for them. So I think that is everything around the mentorship area. So the next thing on my agenda is actually to like discuss around the community. So for most of you that didn't attend the last community meeting, so we've started building, or let me say implementing, a new feature or a new addition to the community website, which we call Snkpi/community. So which will be a place to house everything community related. So I'm going to share my screen, which I did the last time, to share, what we currently have. So please bear with me. Can you see my screen? Okay, so we have this new addition to the Snkpi website. So under the community dropdown, we have we have the overview section. When you click on the overview, so we have some really simple animations. So a lot of the contents you're actually saying now would be updated. So we just working on a simple direction to like get everything together. So we have different sections of the community. So before you guys criticize, I'm not a designer, so we are looking for designers that can help us, improve what we have currently. And I can say Missy is smiling. So we need help. So we have this section, different sections. We have the section that would be later renamed to ambassador programs. We have event and meetups. We have community members. We have a section to start contributing. So we have another section that explains what most of the important section does. We have community platforms. We have the event and meetup sections. We have the advocate programs, who would be called ambassador programs. Then we have different sections. So this is just the simple design or implementation of what we have so far. And I think we got to put requests made into a new branch called community in the Snkpi website repo. So if you're interested, you can, fork it from there. So this is what we have so far. And we have a particular link I'm going to share with you guys for the roadmap. So I wrote a well-detailed roadmap for what we are expecting for the community website. So I call it epic roadmap to the new Snkpi community section. So I'm going to share a link to that. So if you're interested in helping us, push this to production, to help us improving, so you can join this discussion. You can also, like, if you have any suggestion, you can share your suggestion with us. So I'm sharing this on the YouTube channel. Yes, so I'm going to stop sharing. So that's what we have so far on the new community section we are putting in place. And we have so we also have a list of documentation issues that we need help with. And I think, Łukasz, this actually is like related to you, because I've seen a lot of people are interested, in helping us document all this stuff, like configuring release pipelines for Node.js, how we post unofficial LinkedIn accounts and stuff like that. And, a lot of these folks, like I'm pretty sure I have like 6 people that are interested that reach out to me privately that are interested in documenting all the stuff that we have here. And they were like, they didn't know how to get started. They didn't know, even though they say some of them have experience, writing documentations, some of them were like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know how you guys are configuring the Node.js release pipeline. So I can't document it if I don't see it in action or somewhere I can make use as a reference. So I don't think we can address that, Lucas.
Yes.
What?
So yes, there's a lot of docs to provide. We're missing a lot of documentation for the community as like contributor guides, etc. There's a lot of content on videos. So there was my presentation about how to become contributor and TSC member from last conference. There's a video where I was sharing and explaining the whole CI/CD setup. I think it's shared in this in comments in this issue, but kick me in my butt if I didn't do it. I'll do it.
I will do that.
And so there are two videos, and I already actually had a call with Tabach, one of the guys that wants to contribute docs, and I actually had a call with him today, and I did what I just told in the context of mentorship program. So I basically had a call with him, and I was explaining him everything, how we create repositories in Snkpi, how people have to actually give example of MISI and design system repo, like how the whole process of getting approval works, how me and Fran, we create repo, what configuration has to be applied, what CI/CD, etc. So so that's how I address it, because I feel that's the best way, that I provide documentation input through the verbal communication and explanation, a recorded video that someone can go back to and transform it into documentation. So if you have someone that is writing to you directly, not in how to contribute or docs channels, then let them know that I'm open. Like whenever they ask me, I can set up a call with them, or asynchronously record a video and share with them. Or if it's not the best way for them, I can do a documentation input. It's like written documentation input, whatever works for people. So they just need to pick the title of the document, and I can share what I know, and then they can write it as a document. So that's how I approach it now.
Oh, that seems pretty cool, Lukasz. So do you have any? Do I have to refer them to you, or you already have a particular stream? I can send a link to them for them to like preview.
So I can let me quickly check this Epic issue, just to double check quickly if these links are there already. Okay, so like in this Epic issue, like this issue that you have for the community section, there's already, like, I made one comment actually to it was also directed to Tabach, that and I linked to this YouTube video where I make a full explanation of the whole CI/CD setup that we have at Snkpi, all the workflows that we have, and we have to document it. So that's a over 1 hour long huge video that provides a lot of input for documentation. The other one I can share also in the issue about the how to become a TSC member and how to contribute. But with this case, actually there is already one volunteer. She asked me some time ago on Slack in how to contribute, and I actually directed her already to the issue where we are discussing this documentation about how to become TSC member. So these are already, like, let's say, addressed. So there's no one single stream that you can send people to. And so if they're okay just writing me DM, I really don't mind if they write DM to me. I will not send them away or ignore. So if for them it's okay to write DM to me, that's fine. Or they just can ping me in this Epic issue if they prefer to do it in public. I'm pretty flexible here.
Yeah, I think that works. So concerning sending you DMs, I'm pretty sure your avatar is scary. So they will send a DM.
Maybe I need to change my profile picture and my
yeah, of course.
mustache.
Like what? So I'm gonna redirect anybody that's like reached out to me to help to you because I need documentations. So I think that's that, and we actually need help, designing these things like to help improve what we currently have on the community section, how we can improve it, and also we also need insight on which content should be changed, what should be where, and stuff like that. I'm pretty not smart enough to know what should be there and what shouldn't be there. So that's it. And I also have like we also started a discussion about office hours with technical steering committee. A few people were like saying it was a good idea, and yeah, I was thinking could we like. So I think I had Jonas on the last community call, and he was actually saying, what if how do we have calls with Snkpi users that are like using Snkpi in like private companies or something? Do they have access to like have calls with TSC members during these office hours?
It's up to us how we define it. So I mean, depends. I'm not sure how front, but I was usually when somebody in private, and I know that person was from some company, was asking me that like if I could present maybe on some internal event or just have a meeting to explain something. Then it's very individual. So once I said like you first have to become a sponsor, like your company have to become a sponsor of the initiative. But for one guy, I made an exception because it was not about presenting in the company, but he was from a company, from Oracle actually. But he actually is writing a code generator that they want to contribute further in the future to Async API. So yeah, I think it's already a huge thing to help them and get them on board actually and join the project. So I didn't tell him like first you have to donate and then I'm gonna help you. So it's gonna be hard to define what we can do, what not. So that's my opinion. If it's an opinion,
I've done both. So like in the beginning, I used to do this like in internal company meetings. I got invited to, so I've been pitching Async API and explaining how it works and how to contribute in many internal company meetings. And then at some point, I realized that that is a lot of work and that is not really scalable. Like, imagine, I mean, you will need a team of people doing that with many companies per week, right? Just to be able to actually spread the word around the world, and even like this will be complicated. So what I do is I often do that as well. Like I'm now doing this that Lucas said, like if you want me to do this in your internal meeting, you gotta be a sponsor. Actually not any kind of sponsor. I'm asking for platinum sponsor specifically. So yes, like I'm not gonna spend my time on a company that is not willing to give back to the community. So and I always like I always ask them to understand it, right? Like it's I'm giving you this work for free. The less that I can ask you is something to give back. Like Lucas said, if they are contributors, like Solas, for instance, I mean, Solas doesn't need any introduction to the spec, they already know. But Solas is contributing a lot of code. So yeah. If they were asking me to do this for Solas internal event, I will do it. I will not ask anything, but because they're contributing a lot of their time, right? So, but if you're not gonna contribute anything, no engineering, no time, no no pitching, no DevRel, no talks about this in KPI in conferences, no anything, then I'm going to ask you for money. That is like, then you got to become a sponsor if you don't have time or you don't want to be doing that. And yeah, nobody yet accepted this deal. I thought it was going to work well. But no, like the moment I mentioned that they need to become a sponsor, it's like, we're not that interested in your internal meeting, in your internal talk.
We're gonna figure it out ourselves.
I'm gonna ask one of the engineers in the company to familiarize with Snkpi, and then they will do the talk. So yeah, but it's at least it's not stealing time from us, which is cool, and that is something good. But that's what we do. If someone is in the community is happy to do this in their spare time because they want to practice talking or pitching at companies, that's also fine. We're not saying that people should not be doing this. We're saying that we're not doing this because we got tired of this. But I must say that it was useful. So yeah, it was useful for learning how to pitch and how to give internal meetings and get feedback.
Okay. Yeah, so I typically tagged every TSC member in the discussion, I guess. Yeah, I think I've gotten few replies say they're interested. So I'm also interested, and I would love to do, I'd love to do it more often, just specify, I'm available during this hour of the week if you want to discuss anything, because I actually have that idea based on, people that are using Snkpi for the first time that, would typically have questions. And Jonas was saying, some people would actually want to take advantage of that, and they're using this thing privately and they're not giving back to the community. So I was like, we have to fix that, right?
It's all about how we describe it and define rules. But in the end, what Fran said, it's time of the TSC member. Like, they can spend it as they want. So if Jonas do not want to be, what the term did you use? Like, exploit? No. Like if it's for Jonas, it's a problem that some company would use this time in a wrong way and ask him to explain what async API is, then he can just decline. But some TSC member might be okay doing it. So we just can write down a rules in this office hours, like recommendations, not like that it has to be like this, but recommendations, like if somebody wants to contribute and it's a meeting about how Modelina works, how can I contribute to it, then it's fine. And then have a rule like, but please, whenever somebody is coming from some company and they need a meeting just where you explain what async API is, then please first ask them to become Platinum sponsors, because that's also what is in the Platinum sponsorship description, that when you become a Platinum sponsor, you have 1 hour or something consulting free 1 month. 1 hour, something like, we would have to check with Open Collective.
Yeah, I think it's 2 hours per month or something
2
like
hours,
that.
yeah,
Or
okay.
4 hours per month or something like that.
Yeah.
No, nobody ever used it. So
yeah.
Just the funny thing is that people who are becoming Platinum sponsors are the ones who are more aware of what async API is, and they are the ones that need less help. So yeah, so they don't actually need this this time usually. So, yeah. And also I want to mention that we're talking about TSC members, but also ambassadors, right? So for instance, and actually any member of the community, but ambassadors especially as well will be having this kind of role as well, right? Like they will be preaching about async API. So same thing, like if they want to be preaching to companies in the internal meetups, and that's fine, but it's up to them. Like we can give them some guidelines so these companies don't abuse their time, basically, because many people will try to abuse your time. and your calendar. So yeah, just we can give some advices of what we learned from the last years.
Some companies could make you, design a whole system on the call.
I actually, just for the record, I disabled my Calendly link. Just so you know. So I used
cool.
it to manage my invitations from companies and so on to have a meeting, a quick meeting, 30 minutes. It was never 30 minutes, and I had to disable it. So I instead manage it manually now because it was insane. It was too much.
Yeah, man. I understand. We have to still have a lot of discussion around that, because I think it has to come once we have the community section completed, right? So we still have a lot of time. So I think that's basically everything I have. Yeah, I remember I remember something I wanted to say, and I've forgotten why you were saying something, Fran. Yeah, I remembered. So I was hoping to have a contributor called Ismail on this call, but I think for some reason he couldn't join. He wrote an amazing article a couple of weeks back, which was saying how Snkpi was helping keep planet Earth safe. And when I read the article, I was blown. I was like, I was like, what? So, and then I see of recent, Wukash actually quoted the guy's tweets. I think it was he said something much more fun. And I was saying, oh, since we didn't have Ismail here to give us a context of his article, and I have Fran and I have Wukash on the call, well, you guys could help.
How?
You need to say you need to tell us how, because this guy wrote amazing stuff, and I was saying you need to tell us how Snkpi is actually helping save the planet.
I think you have to ask Ismael Velasco, who's the author of the article.
He's not. Yeah,
He knows. He knows. I honestly don't know. I didn't read the article yet. I've seen it, but I didn't read. I read only the first 2 paragraphs. So yeah, I was on holiday, so I wasn't too committed to it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Look how she actually quoted the tweets.
Yeah, because I like the article.
I hold you responsible, man.
It was a good article, eye-opening. But the thing is that I'm ignorant in this topic, so that's why it was eye-opening for me. I know more from the article, but how this can be done through the spec, I have no idea. But what I can tell you, after reading this article, so one of the topics that I have for the mentorship program is actually the MVP implementation of the extension catalog. That we have this concept long time in the Snkpi initiative, that we maintain a public extension catalog through which we can, with the community, add some extensions to the spec, see how they work, how they're adopted, and then it's easier to push things to the spec. And that's what I was thinking, when I was reading this article and this open question, how we could do it with Snkpi. That was my first thing. It's a perfect candidate for this MVP and this extension catalog. To first design these items through the extensions, and then it's it's shared like a package. If somebody wants to have a system that is responsible if it comes to the emissions, then that would be advertised a set of extensions that they could use, and they're supported in our tools, and then somehow pushed maybe into main spec. But the thing is that first we need to see some specific proposal, how these things could be really done, because I'm not sure. From the article, I liked the article because it was not very supportive for HTTP polling, and I also don't like it. But with the spec, like the spec itself helps already, but it's just that the company anyway has to go like move from HTTP polling to event-driven architectures like WebSockets or something different. And it's not spec that supports it. Spec supports the protocol, but there's no specific setting in the spec that is making an impact. It's just the existence of the spec is making an impact.
I think we have to rename HTTP polling to HTTP polluting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That will be really cool.
Yes.
So I think, without having read the article, so take my comment with a grain of salt, because it's really, I don't know what it is about. But by the article, by the title of the article, and the first of or two paragraphs that I've read, I think it is more about the very nature of event-driven architectures and persistent connections, right? So if you have a persistent connection, it is always cheaper in terms of resource. It depends on the resources, but it is always cheaper than having request response. I see Sergio is doing like, of course. I mean, that's why I said like depends on the resources. If, like for instance, RAM memory will run quickly. You will run out of memory quickly in the server if you have many open connections at the same time. So that is that, because it's usually not just a RAM, but it's usually mapped to the file system as well. So these connections are mapped to the file system. So these are resources. This is consuming resources. But if you're transferring, for instance, I think you need to keep a balance there, right? Like if you're transferring too much data too fast, in like very often, not too fast, but very often, then a persistent connection will be ideal there, because yeah, the only thing you have to do is just to exchange stuff, and you avoid having to send again the HTTP headers and repeating yourself. In an HTTP request, for instance, most of the request is not about your data, the data that you want to send, but about the HTTP protocol. And then this again and again and again being the same, if they are the same, of course, it's redundant, right? And it's very much redundant. But if it's the same, a call over and over and over and over and very frequently, like a few times per second, something like that. Then if you have a persistent connection, you only pass these headers or this information in the beginning when you open the connection, and then you start exchanging messages very often, like a few times per second or something like that. Then it's cheaper, of course. It's cheaper because you have to transfer less bytes over the network, right? But if you are using this persistent connection to transfer just one message a day, right? That is not cheaper at all. It's cheaper to make a request, right? Because to keep the connection open, you need to still send a message from time to time, which is called a heartbeat, and it's to tell the server, hey, I'm here, I'm still here, I'm connected, right? Don't close my connection, I'm still here. So this is consuming. This is data that you're sending. These are bytes that you're sending. So if you're not, if most of your messages are heartbeat messages, then you're not taking advantage of a persistent connection, right? So, but that's the very nature of EDAs or event-driven architectures and messaging protocols and so on. Not so much about this in KPI. What I agree that Snkpi is promoting and making it easier to work with this kind of APIs or this kind of protocols, messaging protocols, event-driven architectures, and so on. So indirectly, in my opinion, I think we can help, like lower the emissions, of course, if you're really worried about it, right? But Snkpi itself, by itself, I don't think it will lower anything, because it's just an offline spec and it's not running anywhere or it's not doing anything, right? So yeah, but I think that because we're doing this, then it will become easier in these scenarios where people are like polling very frequently for messages and getting always the same result. Like, no, there's no new information for you. They could be using a persistent connection, and we could make it easier. Yeah, that's. Now I'll read the article to see if it if it really makes sense, but that's what I suspect is coming. It's coming from, or it is going, or it's somehow related, right, to consumption, to this kind of consumption. Yeah, I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
Even the fact that you haven't even read the article, you're able to like give even more insight. Like that was awesome, Fran.
Well, I've been doing this for a while, but it's a different perspective, I guess.
He was just defending HTTP polling because Sergio was angry. That's all.
Yes. HTTP polluting, remember.
Polluting.
It's polluting the planet.
Yeah, that was amazing, and I think that's everything, because I couldn't forget about that, and I'm willing to like bring Ismail into the next community meeting if I can, because he wrote an amazing article. So that's everything on my agenda. Like, if you have anything you might want to discuss, I believe right now is the time.
Just going back to the mentorship, just to because at the beginning of the meeting you mentioned that not many mentees came to the meeting. So just remember, like, in the end, we always talk that meetings are not mandatory. So just give them, like, if they cannot come to the meeting and share their opinion or actually some status, if you're doing this status checks, I don't know, just give them this opportunity that if they don't join, then they should at least give you a written information on Slack. Just don't require meetings because it's against us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Łukasz. I'm going to do just that. I think that's even better because, yeah, why not? We don't require meetings.
Yeah.
Maybe because I'm just super pumped to doing it.
Yeah, but many of them, are still studying or having some second interns. Like, I have one intern that has 2 internships and is studying. So
everyone is gonna be like me, just say it.
And on top of that, we have time zones, right? So the problem with time zones.
Yeah. So I think that's everything. Anyone has anything to say or to share, discuss?
So we're gonna run this meeting now, always, right?
Of course, man. I'm not going down easily.
Perfect, because I love it so.
I can see Lucas' face, like relax, like, oh, like finally, and just a note here. It's amazing from my side, from my perspective, that I started running these meetings in the beginning because I was probably the only one in the project. So I started, and when Lucas joined, I think the first week I already told him, like, no, from now on you do this, you figure it out. I'm tired of it. So yeah, I delegated this to them, and now he's delegating this to you. So it feels awesome.
You guys are passing the torch.
Yeah, passing the torch, or the problem.
No, not a problem.
No, not yet. Now I'm looking forward to see who you delegate this to, right?
and just don't burn yourself during the run with the torch.
No, I won't. I'll keep it light.
We can make it circular. Shit, I shouldn't have said that. No.
Yeah.
It goes back to Fran.
No. Yeah, it can go back to Lucas.
That's definitely not a circle then.
No.
Yeah.
Depends on how you see it. But
You know, I'm pretty glad, you know, to be hosting this day, because imagine at one point I was like joining as a regular contributor, and now I'm the host. So why not? Tell me not. I'm glad, man.
yeah, and this
I
is a
was-
call, and I think this is a call. I mean, forgive me if I'm probably going too far, but this is a call to the whole community. Like, we don't have to be always the same host. You know, like we can be rotating, but not only inside the Postman team. Like it can be held by other members in the community, right? So yeah, like
of
actually,
course.
this will be really cool that at some point someone says, hey, I want to be the next host of the community meeting. So yeah, just saying that we want to open this as always.
So if you are in this meeting and you are the next host, be prepared, mate. If you are watching this live stream and you will be the next host, be prepared. Yeah, so I think that's
We're hiding.
I did,
Don't
yeah.
let me.
Yeah, so that's everything for today's
Look
meeting.
at Sergio go. He was like.
I can see you. So we've already run out of time, because just an hour. So I think I'm gonna just, you know, summarize everything we've spoken about. We talked about the challenges of the mentorship programs and how we are going to address most of these, and how we are, you know, using this current mentorship program to collect data and feedback for the next one to make it better. And we also discussed a discussion around the community section we're implementing, and we need help, especially designs. If you're a designer watching this live stream, we need help. Missy, we need help. So if you, once again, we need help. So, and also we have a discussion around one of the contributors that wrote an amazing article concerning how Snkpi could help reduce global emission in a significant way. And yeah, and how HTTP pollution should be dead by now. Yeah, man.
Yes.
So that's everything we discussed. Thank you, folks, for joining this meeting. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. And I will still be your host. Sorry, Lucas.
No need to sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Ace. Bye.
Bye.